getting rejection from investor and all is perfectly okay. I think people can make up that matter. And yes, it was complete shift in terms of what my expertise was in terms of technology. And even now, though it is fintech, but tech is very different. Don't just jump into doing something. Do some research in terms of why you want to do, whether you really want to do. So I have worked for companies like ARM, then Cypress Semiconductor, which was later acquired by Infineon. So I had been very close to learning all these, different subjects around that.
Hello viewers, welcome back to the latest episode on GIBS IRE Talks podcast powered by GIBS Business School, a place where innovation meets inspiration. This is Professor Guru Prasad, host for today. Well, I've made this statement quite numerous times in my podcast and even when I interact with my students that India overall has seen a remarkable transformation when it comes to finance industry. And fintech has been cherry on the top for the last few years. I think that's how we should grow. Despite the challenges like cyber security, cyber threats and all that, I think we have been the best in this industry compared to the global standard as well. And you will agree to the fact that individuals' participation in the finance industry, I'm talking about the citizens actively participating, has also seen a rapid increase in the numbers over the last few years, which was otherwise a challenge for many years. And today, I think I should credit the technology which has made this possible. To discuss and deliberate on the same, I have somebody with me today who has done, or I would say, an incredible journey in the fintech. And I'm very happy to host today Mr. Amit, the founder and CEO of Floatr. On behalf of all my viewers, I extend a heartfelt welcome to you. Welcome to you, sir. And I hope you're doing good.
Good morning. Good morning.
So before I get into the subject matter, take us through your earlier life. Your school days and college days. How was it?
All right, great. First of all, I'm really happy to be here. I've seen some of your podcast earlier, and I think pretty inspiring. I would say some of the founders you have spoken.
Thank you, sir.
So really looking forward to this particular maybe 30 minutes or whatever we talk about.
Likewise.
Right. So just for a background, I was born in Bihar. And I've spent probably first 9-10 years right there before I moved to a different state at a very young age, which was Assam. So I did my schooling there. I've studied from Kendriya Vidyalaya, and pretty much till my 10th standard, I was in the same school. And from there, I moved into one engineering college, which is unique in itself because there you get admission after class 10.
Okay.
So it's a 10+6 program.
Oh, okay.
The college name is Northeastern Regional Institute of Science and Technology. We call it NERIST in short. Mm-hmm. So this place is in Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. That itself is, during those times, people used to get surprised when we used to say like, I've come from Itanagar, some college in Itanagar. So yeah, it's been a good journey there. So it was 6 years I spent there and graduated in electronics and communication. And post that, moved to Bangalore straight away within 3-4 months of completing my graduation. In Bangalore, the journey started with looking out for a job. Like any other people in 2000, yes, there was a lot of job, no doubt about it. But then coming from electronics was not so easy than the computer science.
Right.
So finally, a lot of us in terms of students coming from my same batch and all. So I landed up a job in semiconductor industry as my first job. That was late in December 2000. Yeah, 2000. Okay. So it's been 24 plus years of industry for me right now, in which first 14 years I was in corporate job. So I have worked for companies like ARM, then Cypress Semiconductor, which was later acquired by Infineon. Then I spent roughly about 9 years in LSI, which later became Broadcom. And since leaving LSI or Broadcom, 2014, I've been on my own. So my first startup was in 2014 and had a decent journey, I would say, for 6 years before we got a chance to exit through a merger with another services company. And post that, Floatr journey has been 4 years old now.
I generally ask this question to all the individuals I interviewed in this podcast. They start their journey with the one particular, let us say, X degree, and get into a job, and finally get into an entrepreneurial journey where their degree as well as their, the corporate life has no relation to what setup they have brought. So I would love to ask this question. I was speaking to you off camera as well.
Yeah.
What was common in you right now is that tech part of it, because you're an engineer and you're now into fintech. But finance is something that it's completely a different ballgame. So two questions to you. Question number one: how was your transition from a well set corporate life, right, to getting into something of your own? And second one is absolutely stepping into a domain which is absolutely new to you. What's your take on this?
Got it. So let me first start. How did I start the first venture itself, which was known as Gate Length Technology, and that was still very much into the tech that I was working in for first 14 years, right? So I think that was not well planned for a long time. That okay, I want to leave my job and start something. It was pretty spontaneous at some point of time. I was coming out of Broadcom at that time and waiting for joining somewhere else. And during that time, I think I was in still considering like what to do, whether I should join a job or should we do something, because I was already seeing some of the similar startups who had kind of scaled in the last 6-7 years, and they were doing good. So that was one inspiration. And as it happened, I think I found one of my best friend. His name is Mubarak. And when I brought this idea to him, I think fortunately he had a similar thought process, right? So he was also just coming out of his job, and it just clicked for both of us, I would say, right?
That's great.
That okay, let's take this plunge, right? So I think within a week or two, we figured out that whether really we want to do it or not, right? So that's how it happened. And since it was still with the same tech, so it was not a problem in terms of whether we are moving out from what we already know, what we are expert in, right? So it was much easier in that way.
Right.
Second time, I would say, was a little different. And yes, it was complete shift in terms of what my expertise was in terms of technology. And even now, though it is fintech, but tech is very different.
True.
Because I come from electronics industry, semiconductor, I was a chip designer.
Exactly.
But this is more of a software development.
True.
Right? So even though it is tech, it's actually not my
Which is a different ballgame?
It is, for me, it was very different. I am not a coder as such, right? So, so what helped still is that the experience of those 20 years, right? One is the corporate job itself, and the second one was that going through the hustle of 6 years of running my own organization, seeing a lot of ups and downs during those 6 years as well. And that, I mean, gave me a lot of maturity in terms of if I'm starting again, what needs to be taken care of, right? And also the expectation was known. I knew that there are again going to be bumpy rides. So nothing came as a surprise this time, which was there for the first time, even though tech was same. So that was one. And how finance happened was, again, it's a pretty long story, because for me it didn't happen accidentally.
Okay.
This was there on my mind since probably 2007 or 8 as a subject, not as an entrepreneur, but as a subject very close to me, right? So I had been reading, learning, attending a lot of sessions around personal finance and things like that, right? How to manage your money, how to become financially healthy, what are the right things to do, what are not right to do, right? And I was seeing my peers, colleagues about where they are going wrong at times in terms of making decision about their money. So I had been very close to learning all these, different subjects around that. So what happened when I exited the first organization, then I could just sit and think about whether this is something we can do, right? So that's how it came. So I had some of the, I would say, the technical skill of the financial subject that I am doing right now, which is related to financial wellness. So that was not a big surprise for me, or it did not happen as an accident, I would say. Now, the only point was if someone is ready to, buy that idea, right?
Correct.
That we should do it or not. So that also worked for me because I had one tech guy with me in my previous organization. His name is Sumit, who is my co-founder now. We could talk. Plus, my previous founder Mubarak was there from Gatelink. So we three again took a decision that whether this is something we want to do. And post that, we realized this makes sense because we saw a market basically and a demand.
So which year was that when you got into your entrepreneurial journey for the first time?
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the fintech?
2021.
2021.
Yes.
So 2014 to 21, how do you rate India's technological growth at that point of time? Was that really very healthy?
Massive. I mean,
right? That was the era, right?
Yeah.
That was the era.
Correct. So I think during those years, 14 to 18, I think we have seen so many tech startups who have become unicorns.
Unicorns today.
Right? Some of them got listed during the meantime. Right?
Yes.
So I think that was a very, very prime age, I would say.
Right.
Yes, COVID did bring things down a bit, but I think now again it's picking up.
True. And how was your journey then? 2020, 21, 22?
Since I was into services industry, after COVID.
After 2021, 22.
I think first 2 years was a little tough because we just started the Floatr, and while maybe some of the lockdown effect was still there. So what happened, we did struggle in terms of having a team who could work with us. We were all remote. But good thing is that initial 1 year or so, it was all about the product development, and not like go to market.
Right.
So that helped us. Because when you are into product development, remote works pretty well. I mean, there is no challenge as such, provided you have got a couple of guys who are committed and they know what they need to do, right? Or they are happy to get trained on something if I'm hiring a fresher. So that way, I think because of being in a product development stage, it did not impact much the fact that we were all remote, not operating from one office.
Wow, that's great.
But if it was go-to-market stage for us, we would have struggled for sure.
So tell me more about the products and services of Floatr. Just want to understand that.
Okay. So Floatr, how the idea came was my personal experience, I think, and that's very common in most of the startups, right? So way back in 2003, 2004, when probably first time my salary became taxable, okay? And the general behavior at that time was that one of your friend will talk to some insurance agent. He will come to your office. You will write a check, and you're done. You get the proof, and you submit it to the company.
That's right? How it was.
And you're done. No idea about what you paid for. No idea why you paid for, and many times no idea how much you're paying. Just that you thought 25,000. I have to do some taxation declaration, so let me do 25,000. Somehow I'll manage and all that, right? And so that was the first time I bought some insurance. That time perfectly okay, but after 2-3 years, when I started taking a lot of interest in this subject itself, I realized I had done a big mistake, right? Because then I tried to find out what I paid for by another 2-3 years. So I spoke to a few of the people I knew in the insurance industry and customer care and all that. So I was told, you cannot stop this now. It's a 20-year plan, so you have to just continue. Now, that came as a shock for me because I didn't know about it.
Was that a mis-selling then?
It was a mis-selling. Yeah. And this is happening today also. Right? So then what happened after 5 years, I took a call. Enough is enough. I have to surrender it. So I surrendered it. So that experience, what it told me is that we need to be more aware about things. Otherwise, anybody can come and mis-sell.
Especially
it was so easy.
I find especially in insurance because it's a very complicated product.
Insurance, of course, that is the main culprit since long time. Now at least awareness is there because of a lot of those digital content, but still there are mis-selling, right? So that's how it started. So when we were, completing our merger and that period of 1 year, right? So then I realized, can we do something to help someone who was like me that time, right? So the younger people who are just getting into a job, and one is, of course, mis-selling is one of that, but then more like, can they understand things around finance when it comes to their own money, right? Because in young age, we are more prone to spending, not thinking about anything other than spending.
Agree.
Right? So that was the whole idea where it started off. And then slowly we started building upon like how to solve this problem. So problem was financial awareness gap in financial awareness, right? So first we try to fix out that what needs to be done, whether we need some tools, whether we need some platform which is intuitive enough to help people do things. So slowly, I think it took about 1 year and 1.5 years where we figured out how to do it, and some of the things are still under development, I think, in terms of making it better and better.
So Floatr basically targets the retail segment?
It is for individual, yes, retail.
Right.
But coming to my our approach itself, right? So I can reach out to individuals, either just go to market and start pushing digital campaigns and advertising and all that, right? And that's pretty investment extensive. So we took a call that let's do it in a B2B2C channel, right? Now, when I say B2B2C, what we thought of, because since it was for financial wellness, now there are corporates who are very, concerned about this topic as well. A lot of companies want to help their employees. And during this last 5 years, that especially mental wellness and physical wellness was hot topic.
Absolutely.
Among corporates.
Yep.
And then we had to plug the third pillar, I would say, when it comes to wellness.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
financial wellness.
Typically there are 3 pillars to wellness when it comes to employee wellness. And if we probably talk about which one is more impactful in terms of negative side, probably financial. Because it directly leads to attrition also.
Absolutely.
Right? Because whenever I'm feeling some problem in my personal life because of money, the first advice anybody gives is change your job, you will get 30-50% hike. So it's a very natural decision making when someone is not financially happy.
And that's a key ingredient for your physical and mental wellness as well.
A lot of times, yes. Yes, exactly. Because when you are financially stressed, a lot of things you are not doing,
Absolutely.
which otherwise you may want to do. And that includes your mental fitness and physical fitness as well.
This is an interesting point.
Yeah. So I think that's how we are very active in the corporate segment right now. Mm-hmm. So we are normally partnering with companies and reach out to their employees in different ways in terms of, so one of our engagement is through webinars and workshops. Because as I said, right, the key of the problem is that awareness gap.
Right.
And that can be addressed only through workshops and webinars.
Yes. Taking the same point, sir, I feel the awareness is lacking in India because of, I would say, grassroots level training, which is big time missing. See, I come from an academic background. I am an academician myself. Even today, if you look at the syllabuses, there are great exclusion of these subjects in the textbooks.
I agree.
So why can't Floatr think of also starting something from the school education point of view, or tapping the schools and colleges? Do you have any idea?
Your point is very much right, but what we have thought of yet, not at a school level, but obviously your point is right. For example, at a school level, maybe 9 or 10.
Yes, that's the right age.
It's very simple. You can easily teach something, the concept of savings, investment, compounding. These are very basic.
True.
It's simple maths.
Very true.
Right? So these can surely be taught. But coming to your next question, like, can we take it up from grassroots? So probably we are not prepared to do that right now. Okay. But what we are also evaluating, not yet started also as a project, is can we start this from a college level at least?
Right.
Especially those colleges where these are professional colleges. Right. Maybe final year students, for example.
Correct.
Third or fourth year students in engineering or any other stream of final year.
Correct.
Because they are progressing into job. And as soon as they get into a job, this whole thing becomes very relevant for them. And even at a college level, you are still managing money which you are getting from your parents. Right. And I'm sure if you know something about how to manage that also, it will help you. You might end up saving 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees in a month in that case also. Maybe you will not give it back to your parents. That is okay. I don't think parents expect that. But I'm sure you might use it for something which you probably always wanted, than just letting it go with some, eating out with friends and all that, right? So it makes a lot of sense, at least to start bringing that awareness at a college level, at a final year level at least. Probably that will start building a culture of knowing things. And then when you go to the job, probably the first thing you will do is think about, okay, how much I can save.
Yep.
First thing we currently think is like how to spend this money. Not about, okay, how to save at least 10% of that.
Right.
The whole idea is about first save. I think it's not me, but any financial expert will tell you that when salary comes, first remove 20% of that or whatever. If it is less salary, if let's say only 15,000 is stipend, just remove 1,000 rupees. Doesn't matter how small it is. It's just that habit needs to be built from right first.
Absolutely. And that can happen, as you said, only at the right age if you do it.
Right. And for that, you need to know some of the fundamentals.
Right.
That why.
Yes.
If why is known, you will find a way of how.
Absolutely.
So that why is first very important here.
Great.
So
for any fintech expert that I meet, I ask this question. So the same pleasure I'll take to ask you. The biggest challenge we have today is the cyber threat and cyber crimes that's ongoing. You come from Bihar, so I did not ask about Jamtara, which was quite a famous series. Despite of government and numerous efforts in making public realize that this is happening, be careful. Why the people from Jamtara are still successful in the cyber crimes?
I think the idea of making quick money.
But Jamtara, don't take me wrong. It's just
no. I know that is one example. I know there are many such.
There are many such.
And these days, I think every day we at least receive one such fraud calls, right?
Yes.
So I think many times, they lure you into believing that you are going to make quick money, right? And that leads to kind of getting into their trap, right? So I think that also comes going back. It comes to lot of those awareness things, right? Because when you are aware of things, for example, if the reason is, let's say, getting greedy about making quick money. Now, if you know the concept of money, you will know that there is nothing called quick money.
Absolutely.
Right? So the first thing you will be probably is about questioning.
Right.
Even if you're not suspecting the other person, at least you will question yourself that is it even possible?
True.
If someone is telling things which is too good to be true, it's always doubtful, right? So I think one is about your financial literacy is very important here. But unfortunately, there are a lot of literate people who are getting trapped into it, right? So probably straight away saying literacy is the only problem is not right.
There are lawyers, there are police officers.
Yeah. So I think it's all about they do the homework on you. That who are your near ones, who are your friends, who are your parents, what's going on in your life right now, right? How do you use money? So it's an industry, to be honest, and
My God.
I don't know. No level of literacy can probably solve this. Absolutely. It's all about being alert also and aware that these are the things possible. And sometimes you might end up, encountering something which you have never heard of.
Right.
And then that time your maturity of knowing a lot of the other things will help you.
Now, the reason I asked you this question is your product and services are into tech.
Right.
So when you approach the individuals or clients, for the business, how is the reception? And do they have that fear in their mind again because it's fintech?
So one fear to begin with, not like too many times, but some of the time we have heard, how do you manage data?
Okay.
Right? Because data today is
That's a normal question asked by any individual today. Absolutely.
Right? One is about personal data and second one is about financial data. So that is where we need to give that confidence. That what are the checks we have,
right?
What are the encryption we use in our data flow and everything. So that is one. And the second one is many times, when you're building a financial platform, especially transactional platform, because ultimately when we talk about the platform that we have, it starts with planning and goes into transacting. Now, when a transaction comes, many times people feel who is collecting the money.
Right.
So in our case, most of the transaction that someone does on our platform is directly done with the manufacturer of the product. Like if you're doing mutual fund, it directly goes to the mutual fund.
Okay.
If you're doing national pension system, it directly goes to the NPS system, right? So that also brings a confidence that, okay, at least, especially in the early days when we are still not well-known brand. So this helps that, okay, at least they are not paying to Floatr as such. So, but then I think we have come to a level where we have stopped getting too many such questions, and people are perfectly okay to come on the platform and do their financial management.
A lot of my viewers have expressed their interest to get into this fintech industry as a corporate professional or as an entrepreneur. So I would definitely ask you this question: what are those key skill sets you want my students to inculcate in themselves to become a good fintech professional for tomorrow?
Fintech or otherwise, I think the first skill they need is to hustle around.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I think that is the most one of the most demanding stage of your life will be when you start something. And I think this is one of the myth also, which probably I can also tell that a lot of times we feel if I'm doing on my own, whether it's business or startup, business may be different, but actually even that is not so different. That I'll have my own flexible time. I can do things the way I want. Yes, you can do things the way you want, but you will do things more than what you want.
Right.
Right? Because here you are doing everything.
True.
Even if you don't know, you have to do everything. So you first learn and then they do things, right? So I think hustling and hardworking and commitment will be the
Key.
first mindset change that needs.
Absolutely.
And this may be your inherent skill. If not, then you have to come to that level that mentally you're prepared. And then second skill probably is to mentally prepare yourself to see rejections, right?
Correct.
And rejection is in two ways. One could be your potential customers. One could be your potential partners. One could be your colleagues, friends. They all start rejecting you suddenly. As soon as you come out of a job and you say that I'm doing something, and as soon as they realize you are looking at them as a customer, potential customer, they start behaving differently at times, right? So these are some of those lowest level people who might start rejecting you. Getting rejection from investor and all is perfectly okay. I think people can make up that mind. But this really hurts. When your friends, your colleagues, your family friends start looking at you differently, that hurts. And it takes a while to kind of accept that reality. So that is one, accepting rejection. Coming to fintech, I would say you need to do a very good research in terms of whatever you're thinking as a problem, whether the problem exists. And if it exists, how many people are bothered with that problem, right? Because that will give you an idea about what could be the demand. Plus, it will also give you an idea about what it could take to make those people buy your product, right? So I think that is very important to understand that why you are building this or why you think you want to build it. Then just see if there are anybody who has done it already. And then if someone is already there, it makes your job a little easier that how they have done, how they have scaled, how they have progressed, what are the challenges they might have faced, right? If you can talk to some of them, it's always great. I think many of the founders will be more than happy to talk and give their insight.
True.
If they have done something substantially good, right? So I think that is very important to analyze the market for you, and don't just build just because I am thinking it's my problem. Because many times maybe there are just small set of people who face that problem, and that too they don't realize, right? So sometimes I might have an idea which probably is a problem, but people don't realize it.
Right.
Right? If that kind of an idea I have, then I think my job is a lot about gut feel also. But even for that, you have to talk to, let's say, 100 people, give them that, okay, this is something which I am thinking is there a problem in this financial segment, for example. What's your thought process? Now, that will give me an insight about whether at least these 100 people out of that, how many think that, yes, I never thought about this, but if this solution is there, I'll be happy to take it up. Right? So that's about your market research in terms of especially something which is not already there. So it depends on what kind of idea you are. Your approach will be different, but in both cases, realizing that somebody needs it is very important. Otherwise, I might be spending and really building very good product.
Right.
But challenge will come in the sales,
Yes.
scaling up.
Absolutely.
So I think that is one that let's do a good market research and build a very good team. Team is important here.
Having a good people around
Having
you is-
like 3-4 different skill sets, one being from sales for sure. One should be a sales or marketing guy who is really good in that, and that becomes the key after building the product.
Great.
Because after product building, product probably goes to the back seat. It's all about everybody is selling basically.
Right.
All founders will be involved in that. But one has to be like leading it. So one co-founder from that segment will really help. So one tech, one business, sales, marketing is must. Apart from maybe one or two other guys.
Perfect. I mean, sounds great. Something very, very important that the student have to make a note of this. Well, you had a great, incredible 10-year entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
So I will definitely ask this question. What's in next for Amit and Floatr?
Next is scaling it up. Okay. The last point I was saying, right? Sales.
Right.
So I think it's all about how we take it from here. And right now, I think our task is very simple: expand your customer base, because we are at a stage where product is pretty much good. Yes, this can always keep
Are you
improving.
currently catering pan-India customers?
It is pan India, but primarily Bangalore focused right now.
For now.
Because as I said, no, our current model is more of B2B2C. In that sense, we are mostly targeting Bangalore companies.
Okay.
But yeah, as a product, it's pretty much pan India.
Okay.
And only pan India. So yeah, I mean, I think we are really looking to scale from here in terms of our customer ecosystem and revenue, and become profitable as soon as possible.
Our best wishes to you in the journey, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I said, a lot of my aspirant entrepreneurs are watching you. Well, my previous question, you already answered it.
Yeah.
If anything you want to add on, one piece of advice for my students.
I think another piece of, not advice, but probably something which I felt at some point of time, start little early, I would say, right? So I think when I started, probably I was 36 or so. I don't feel like I started very old, but then I do feel that if I had started 5 years back, so that may have given me a little more time in terms of, because if I had started 5 years back, I was still into job for 9-10 years, which was a decent experience in terms of corporate life. And then I could have started. Second one, I think I was talking in the previous conversation also, that please look for a good team members, those co-founding members, right? Because they are going to be with you, and they are going to be your support. And you really need to have someone with whom you can talk very freely if you are facing some challenge, if you are down personally, right? Because there will be a lot of ups and downs when you are probably feeling very down because things are not working for you, right? Or someone else in your team is feeling down because of certain things. So I think you need to build a support system for all of you, if you are 3 founders, 4 founders, and that will really keep you going, instead of one of them giving up after a while. And then, because if someone gives up, it may be a trouble for the whole team then, right? So it's important to pick the right people at the beginning itself. Yes, sometimes you may end up getting a person who probably was a not good fit. If that happens, also make sure that you get rid of that person as soon as you realize it. I mean, it's not easy to get rid of someone, but I think it's important that once you have realized that someone is a misfit, probably take a call in some way to have a better team, consolidate your team, right? And your first 2-3 hires are also very important. So try to look for, even if it is a fresh grad, for example, right? Try to identify someone whom you feel that they'll be a long-term team member for you, because that really helps. Because the person who is learning about your product from day one, if they become a long timer with you, it becomes a great value addition for your team. So yeah, I mean, and rest of the things I think I spoke about in terms of your mindset and understanding your market and stuff like that, right? Don't just jump into doing something. Do some research in terms of why you want to do, whether you really want to do, and talk to some of your seniors who might have done similar thing, and then take a call. Yeah, I think that will be good enough. I think then later on, it's all about how you navigate through the various stages of failure and not so great time. And yeah, sometimes when you have a great time, just enjoy it, because you may not have too many great times during your journey. So that's all I can say, sir.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. I think that was an excellent piece of advices, or I would say suggestions to all of you. I think we have come to the end of another fabulous session, I would say. On behalf of all my viewers, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Amit. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure hosting you.
Before we leave, I think I really want to thank you and the team and the college. I really wish that more and more students come out into the entrepreneurship. And
Yes.
I'll be happy to, connect with the college anytime for any future,
Absolutely.
any interaction, I would say. I think we'll be very happy to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole agenda why we started something called IRE.
Yeah.
And we've been quite successful now. I was mentioning about it off camera.
Right.
We really have a long vision to take this to the next level and nurture and produce more and more entrepreneurs and more Amit in the coming years.
Sure.
Well, that was another. See, that's the beauty of such podcasts. Though every interaction gets you something very different and something very unique. Today's interaction was really incredible. Amit had his 10 years of incredible journey. And some of the advices that he gave was bang on. Accept rejections, have the best people with you, start early. I think these are all the very key points that one budding entrepreneur should keep a note. Well, I'm sure you had a great learning in this session. We are at the fag end now, so before end, don't forget to like us and subscribe us in all our social media platforms, GIBS IRE Talks and GIBS Business School. On my personal request, also please follow Mr. Amit in all the social media platforms. You tend to learn a lot of things. For now, this is Guru Prasad signing off, and thanks for watching.